Imagine a world where the seemingly impossible becomes reality. Where a daring mission unfolds against the backdrop of geopolitical tension. How did Ukrainian forces manage to pull off a complex and dangerous amphibious raid into the western part of the Crimean Peninsula, and how might it have paved the way for Ukraine's major strike on the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol on August 24? Picture this: a few hundred elite commandos, their faces hidden beneath the cover of darkness, arrived on shore via speedboats. Their target? The Russian Nebo and Costa 2x10 squared radar stations, the guardians of Crimea's skies. These radar stations, responsible for detecting aircraft, drones, and incoming missiles, were the linchpin of Russia's defense strategy in the region. The destruction of these radar assets was crucial. It would create a gap in the air defense network, a vulnerability that could be exploited for future missile strikes in the region. But how did Ukraine manage to reach out and touch this target when it was seemingly out of range of their closest rocket artillery? Enter the Neptune anti-ship missile, used in an unconventional way. Instead of skimming the surface of the sea to avoid detection, it was switched to ground attack mode. In this mode, it could fly low at subsonic speeds, using radar and GPS navigation to differentiate land targets from surrounding clutter. With a max range of 225 miles, it allowed the Ukrainian Navy to fire from a relatively safe distance, from the port city of Odessa. However, this daring mission wasn't just about the attack itself. It was part of a carefully orchestrated strategy. Ukraine had been increasing its naval activity near the Crimean coast, a clear indication that Russia's Black Sea superiority was no longer absolute. Small inflatable vessels called rib boats had been used for reconnaissance of Russian positions in Crimea, searching for a weak point to land at. But here's where the plot thickens. There's evidence to suggest that the troops involved in the raid may have been trained by British Royal Marines. Months of intensive instruction in commando tactics and complex amphibious operations prepared them for this audacious mission. It's a skill set so challenging that coordinating in the dark, in the water, is among the most demanding tasks any unit could undertake. The British connection goes even deeper. Training photos from the Royal Navy show Ukrainian troops practicing in small boats similar to the ones used in the Crimean raid. This was part of a rigorous 5-week crash program in amphibious nighttime small unit raids. It's reminiscent of the British raid on St. Nazaire in World War II, when British commandos pulled off a similar amphibious attack inside Nazi-occupied northern France. The stage was set, the players were ready, and on the night of August 23, 2023, the action began. Ukrainian forces destroyed a Russian S-400 air defense system inside Crimea, at the very location where the special forces would land the next day. Drone footage provided irrefutable evidence of the S-400 being blown to pieces. These systems are valued at around $500 million per battery and are capable of detecting and striking aircraft up to 400 kilometers away. With the S-400 destroyed, the way was clear for the amphibious assault. In the early hours of August 24, at 3:30 in the morning, Ukraine inserted a small commando unit near the Mayak resort in northwestern Crimea. Grainy footage captured their approach on a small Zodiac-style amphibious boat armed with a mounted machine gun. Motorboating their way around potential landmines, this small team managed to avoid detection and reach the shore. Once ashore, they hoisted a Ukrainian flag on a building facade, fired suppressed rounds, and made their bold declaration, "We are already in Crimea. Glory to Ukraine," before withdrawing back to their boat. This small but audacious team avoided detection by the thousands of Russian soldiers stationed there to protect Crimea. It's important to understand the significance of Crimea in this geopolitical chess game. It's Russia's most prized possession, providing access to the Mediterranean Sea through Turkey and hosting their Black Sea Fleet. The stakes are high, and any breach of its defenses sends shockwaves through the geopolitical landscape. As the story unfolds, we see the ramifications of this daring mission. The subsequent strike on September 12 targeted the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol. Cruise missiles and unmanned boats with explosives hit the port, causing significant damage to 2 ships, including an attack submarine and a landing ship. This attack disrupted the critical logistics and capabilities of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. But it's not just about the military strikes. Ukraine's strategy is multifaceted. By targeting military infrastructure and naval assets in Crimea, they aim to alleviate the blockade imposed by Russia, allowing them to regain control of critical grain exports. This daring mission serves to underscore Ukraine's ambitious objectives, extending beyond the front lines. It diverts Russian resources, diminishing their defensive capabilities and morale. While a major amphibious assault on Crimea remains unlikely due to logistical constraints, Ukraine has shown that territory once firmly under Russian control is not beyond reach. In this complex dance of geopolitics and warfare, every move counts. As Ukraine continues to push the boundaries, the world watches with bated breath. The story is far from over, and the future remains uncertain. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for more unfolding stories in the world of geopolitics and strategy.